Everything you have been told about evil is a lie. The media, the movies, the books you read in school, they have painted a caricature of a monster that does not exist. You look for the man laughing maniacally in the shadows. You look for the disheveled outcast muttering to himself in the alleyway. You think you can spot a predator by the look on their face or the tone of their voice. This arrogance is exactly why you are vulnerable. The most dangerous people on this planet do not look like monsters. They look like your partners. They look like your boss. They look like the person sleeping next to you. You have been conditioned to believe that psychopath and sociopath are just interchangeable buzzwords for crazy. You use them casually in conversation. But this ignorance is a luxury you can no longer afford. There is a precise biological and psychological distinction between the two, and understanding this distinction is the only defense you have against a form of human predation that sees you not as a person, but as a resource to be consumed. What I am about to share with you is not found in standard self-help books. It is a diagnostic framework often reserved for forensic psychologists and high-level intelligence profiling. It is a method of observation that feels almost like cheating because once you learn it, you will essentially have X-ray vision into the human soul. You will see the cracks in the mask that 99% of the population misses. We are going to dismantle the human psyche in 5 specific steps. And you need to pay very close attention because step 4 is the glitch. The one involuntary signal that neither the psychopath nor the sociopath can hide, no matter how good of an actor they are. If you miss that, you miss everything. Let's begin with the hardware. Step 1 is the origin. This is the fundamental difference that dictates every move they make. You need to understand that a psychopath is not created, they are designed. It is a biological anomaly. If you were to put a psychopath's brain under an MRI scan, you would see physical differences in the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and empathy. It is dark. It is inactive. Think of a psychopath as a machine built without a braking system. They do not feel fear. They do not feel anxiety. They do not feel guilt. When you look at a psychopath, you are looking at ice. Their behavior is calculated, precise, and entirely devoid of emotional temperature. They are playing a game of chess while you are living a life. They mimic emotions, but they do not process them. A sociopath, however, is fire. A sociopath is made. They are the product of trauma, abuse, and a shattered upbringing. They have the hardware for empathy, but it has been burned out by their environment. Their nervous system is not ice, it is fried. This means they are volatile. While the psychopath is the cold CEO dismantling a company without a pulse, the sociopath is the rage-filled drifter who acts on impulse. The psychopath plans the murder for 10 years. The sociopath snaps in a bar fight. But why does this matter to you? Because of how they hunt. This brings us to step 2, the mask of sanity. This is where most people get trapped. You assume that because someone is charming, they are good. You equate charisma with character. This is a fatal error. A psychopath wears a mask that is flawless. Because they have no internal emotional conflict, they can mirror your desires perfectly. They are the ideal partner. They say exactly what you want to hear because they have studied you. They don't have an identity. They have a persona constructed specifically to disarm you. They are chameleons. A sociopath, however, struggles to keep the mask on. Because they are driven by emotional volatility, their mask slips. They are inconsistent. They might be charming one day and explosively angry the next. They are disorganized. If you see someone who seems to be playing a role but keeps forgetting their lines, who keeps contradicting their own backstory, you are likely dealing with a sociopath. They are trying to blend in, but their internal chaos makes it impossible to maintain the facade for long. The psychopath, on the other hand, can maintain the lie for a lifetime. They can have a family, a career, and a reputation as a pillar of the community, all while living a double life that would make your blood run cold. Step 3 is the attachment style. This is how they connect, or pretend to connect, with you. You need to understand that to these individuals, you are not a human being. You are an object. You are an appliance. Does your toaster love you? Does your refrigerator have empathy for your bad day? No, it has a function. For the psychopath, the attachment is purely transactional. They view relationships as an investment portfolio. What can you give them? Money? Status? Sex? A cover story? As long as you provide value, they will play the role of the perfect companion. But the moment you cease to be useful, the discard phase begins. And it is brutal. It is instant. It is like a light switch being turned off. There is no closure because there was never any connection. The sociopath is different. Because they are damaged, they can form attachments, but they are twisted and possessive. They view people as property. They are prone to fits of jealousy and rage if they feel they are losing control over you. A psychopath will leave you coldly. A sociopath will destroy you for leaving them. Now we arrive at step 4. The glitch. This is the secret weapon I promised you. This is the one thing they cannot control. It is the predatory stare. When a normal person communicates, there is a micro-rhythm of engagement. We blink. We look away to process information. We react to emotional cues. Our pupils dilate when we see something we love and contract when we see something we hate. The psychopath has what is known as a reptilian gaze. Because they do not experience the physiological arousal of anxiety or emotion, they do not need to look away. They can hold eye contact for an uncomfortably long time. It is an intense, unblinking stare that feels like it is piercing through you. But it isn't a stare of connection, it is a stare of assessment. They are scanning you for weakness. But here is the real tell, the glitch in the matrix. Watch their autonomic responses. If a loud noise happens or if something shocking occurs, a normal human nervous system reacts. We jump. We gasp. Our heart rate spikes. A psychopath's heart rate often remains resting. They have a high threshold for stimulation. If you tell them a tragic story about your dying mother, watch their face. They will display the correct expression, sadness, sympathy, but it will be delayed by a fraction of a second. This is the processing lag. They have to intellectually decide which emotion to display because they do not feel it instinctively. That split-second delay, that tiny gap between the stimulus and the reaction, is the smoking gun. It is the moment the alien inside the human suit adjusts its controls. If you see that lag, run. Do not ask questions. Do not try to fix them. Run. Step 5 is the risk assessment. This is how you predict their next move. A sociopath is sloppy. They leave a trail. They commit crimes of passion. They leave DNA. They get into debt. They burn bridges. Their life is a series of train wrecks. You can spot a sociopath by the trail of destruction behind them. The psychopath is a ghost. They take calculated risks. If they commit a crime, financial or physical, it is planned. If they ruin your reputation, they do it in a way that makes it look like it was your fault. They gaslight you until you question your own sanity. They operate in the gray areas of the law and morality. They are the ones who manipulate the system because they understand the rules better than the people who wrote them. They don't break the rules out of anger, they bend them out of entitlement. Now, you might be asking yourself, why didn't I know this? Why do I feel like I've attracted these people before? This brings us to the uncomfortable truth. The failure to spot these predators is not entirely your fault. It is a feature of the system you were raised in. From the moment you were born, society has groomed you to be prey. You were taught to be polite. You were taught to give people the benefit of the doubt. You were taught that everyone has good in them if you just look hard enough. You were raised on Disney movies where the beast turns into a prince. This is a lie designed to keep you compliant. The system relies on your agreeableness. It relies on your empathy. It relies on your fear of being rude. Psychopaths weaponize your social conditioning against you. They know that you will ignore your gut instinct because you don't want to make a scene. They know that you will rationalize their bad behavior because you have been taught to forgive. Your desire to be a good person is the handle they use to open the door to your life. The predator relies on the cooperation of the prey. By refusing to acknowledge the darkness in human nature, you are walking through a jungle with a blindfold on, hoping that the tigers are vegetarians. You must kill the part of you that seeks to be liked by everyone. You must accept that there are entities in human form that do not have a soul, and no amount of your love or patience will grow one for them. The difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is academic. The result of letting either into your life is identical: destruction. Now you have the code. You know the origin of the ice and the fire. You know the inconsistency of the sociopath's mask and the perfection of the psychopath's facade. You know the transactional nature of their attachment. And you know the glitch, the dead, unblinking stare and the delayed reaction that reveals the emptiness within. The next time you meet someone who seems too perfect, who mirrors your soul a little too well, whose eyes don't seem to flinch at the chaos of the world, look closely. Look for the lag. Look for the cracks. And when you see them, do not be polite. Be gone.